IT sees everything. Undefined. I've recently started working in tech support for the first time. 18 years in call centers and offices. Never once tried my hand at tech support. My now employer hired me basically because they wanted to try employing good customer service people they can train to do nerd stuff, as opposed to trying to teach the very smart but frankly quite rude staff to be better at talking to people. Anyway, most users are fine. They can't do basic stuff like clearing cookies and cache, but we have some that know a little too much for their own good, and I had one call me on Friday. Hey, I've got a Citrix free so I shut down. I'll need a ticket for the 10 minutes you need to reset the session. Me, alright, got the ticket filled out. Let me check your session and see what's lagging it. You don't need to do that, just reset it and give me the ticket number. Now users do this because they know that a Citrix reset will take 10 minutes to ensure it's a new session, and they just want 10 minutes off the phones. Some users have daily tickets for this. I know what she's aiming for, and I won't be an accessory to her trying to avoid work. I look at her session, and there's no indication it's frozen. Everything is exactly as it should be, except she's shut down her soft phone. I remote into her station and see that she's set her comms to appear offline, and closed her soft phone. She's sending someone a message on Teams to say she's calling IT to lodge a ticket for downtime and will combine it with her break so she gets longer off. Me, everything appears fine to me. No frozen session. No, I told you. It's frozen. No calls are coming in at all. I just need a ticket. Me, well, we need to justify resetting the session, and I'm not seeing any reason why you'd need to spend that time in downtime. Okay, I don't understand why you're not listening to me. My session froze. I can't move the keyboard or mouse. I can't take calls. You need to reset it. Me, alright, let's test that theory. I take control and make her available on Teams, then open up her soft phone and put her in an available status. A call starts ringing immediately and I even answer it for her. I attach the screenshots of the chat to the ticket and document what happened. Then put her team leader on the CC list for the ticket. I wonder if we'll get an offboarding request for her this week. You won't. She'll claim it was one of those things where it started working as soon as she called IT and she'll skate. Can you tag users in your ticketing system? Something like notify her team lead on every Citrix reset. We would absolutely have a category for this so we could tag it for reporting purposes. It would definitely come up in the quarterly executive review. Seems like they want metrics for absolutely everything. That would be another good one to add. We were getting a lot of calls from users to assist with tasks they should already know how to do. The supervisors were just telling them if you can't figure it out, just call the help desk. It was starting to add a huge load on our help desk, so we created a training category to start tracking all the extra resources it required. Eventually, we took those statistics to the executive meetings and showed them exactly how much money was being wasted because their supervisors were hiring unqualified people and/or failing to train them properly. It took a long time, but the number of training-related calls have started going way down. We can easily adapt the solution for other types of calls, and if we saw users start to abuse the help desk again, we'd definitely be reporting on it. It's a waste of our limited resources. I don't care if users want to get out of answering phones. I'm not their manager. But when it wastes my time and my budget, then I have a problem with it. I walked into a similar situation. Part of my job is to play bad cop, so I push back by sending documentation and telling them to ship the stuck order. Follow instructions in blah section at the bottom of page 4. I will leave the ticket open in case those steps don't resolve your issue. Please reply with the results. Next day I check the system and see the order is still open. Send them a reminder to try the steps and report the results. Next day rinse, repeat and CC their boss. Next day rinse, repeat, CC 2 levels up and tell them the ticket will be closed if I don't hear back. 2 days later, close ticket due to no response. The following week same user reports the same issue on the same order. The problem with this is that eventually it turns into IT is refusing to help me. Because your CCs are clearly ignoring the messages and then you're stuck justifying your own response. What's worse, you're making your L1 or L2 people try to upwardly manage people in other departments who are 2 or more levels above them in the org chart. It puts you on the defensive and puts the onus on the low-level grunts to effect change. That's why we take all that data and quantify it in terms of cost. And at the steering committee meetings we hold the department managers' feet to the fire to justify why their people are wasting our department's resources on things they should already know how to do. We get really bitchy if we don't get a satisfactory response. If they refuse to fix the problem, we simply cut their entire department off from our services. Doing this at the executive level and making it about wasted money has been the key for us. We simply cut their entire department off from our services. I think this is the ingredient a lot of people are missing. Any justice system needs a death penalty so people will take the others seriously. You have to have the political capital to pull that off. And most IT departments don't because they're horribly mismanaged. If you have a good CIO or equivalent department head who knows how to make the steering committee understand the value of the overhead they're spending, that capital grows pretty quickly and easily. The problem is that most IT departments are either A, run by former IT frontline workers with no real management training, or B, business majors with no technical experience. It takes someone with a good mix of both skills to bridge the management and the technical. Which all comes down to the same brute fact that underlies a lot of the problems we have. Most of us go into IT because we don't want to deal with people. I was in a very similar situation as IT in a call center. Had a rep that would call in saying she had rebooted her machine at least twice a day because of problems with various apps and needed a ticket number to report to workforce management. I recreated her accounts, flushed her profile, recreated her Windows account, and without her knowing replaced her PC after hours. She kept having the same problems. WFM was being very demanding in resolving the problem for her because of her downtime. I advised everything I had done. She was basically a new employee and the only thing the same was her. I requested we change her problem reporting procedure in the name of troubleshooting. No more reboots. She was to contact us and we would troubleshoot immediately. An hour now was better than 2x 15 minutes every day. She tried the problem went away a few times which required no troubleshooting. But more importantly, she wasn't able to take a break in the interim because she had to be there to show us the problem. Then she tried saying we were being rude, etc. So the process changed to include her coach being present during troubleshooting these issues. Soon after, the problem magically disappeared. Never underestimate lazy people. They will do the most effort to avoid doing the effort. Stupid lazy people. Smart ones figure out a way to avoid the effort. Effortlessly. RWP. With the smart ones, there is no one that caught them out to then tell everyone else about it. The smart ones are usually still productive enough to earn their money. They could be more productive maybe, but that doesn't matter. Truly, if everyone is fine with the results, why not? Can someone please tell this to my afraid of automation scripts upper management? Please, I am so sick of taking inventory on paper. In triplicate, I am not kidding. That would be counterproductive. The trick is to just automate it and not telling them. They are happy, you are happy. Have fun with the extra free time. I think you have just taken the first step on the way to realizing why so many IT and tech support people are such misanthropes and are seen as rude to users. Your user here will not be fired, she will instead make up some lie to make you look bad and save her own skin and people will believe her. Repeat that a few more times with escalating stakes and you are halfway there to hating everyone on general principle. I had a college instructor that stated you could tell how long a tech had been in IT not only by the length of their beard, but also by how they reacted when the phone rang. If it was immediate jump to answer the call and be helpful, they were obviously a newbie. If their general reaction was one of "Oh, what the hell do you want now?" they had been in the trenches a while. My time in the field has thus far proven that to be true. A little longer and we just stop answering the phone entirely. We just yell "submit a work order" at the ringing phone. Eventually, you just unplug the phone entirely and day drink. I have ascended. I had a woman physically break 3 computers to get out of work. I actually had to involve HR, Tom, my manager and her manager before it was taken seriously. Can we have the story of this delightful specimen? Dude, this post made me sad. Yeah, on the one hand I do get what others are saying about how this could blow back on IT if it was allowed to continue. But on the other hand it just seems like a capitalist nightmare. I mean, how dare she want a few extra minutes of break? We must work at all costs to prevent this. Can't we just let people have these little things? The problem is that her few extra minutes are coming at someone else's expense. IT suffers because if her issue doesn't get fixed then the IT department gets punished for something that's not their fault. The user can find some other way to eke out some more downtime. Just not at the expense of their peers. I don't know why anyone thinks OP is in the wrong in this situation. He has moved to a different role within the company, and now has different responsibilities and people to answer. I would make a guess that OP was good on the floor, and was moved up to see how well he can perform. If he failed and this may have been a test to report what was going on, it could be his offboarding event generated. Also, if he blindly follows what the user said and she gets the 10 minutes downtime to add to her break, message will get out and more people will abuse the system. It is called setting a precedent, and OP avoided it. Indeed, training the end users is a part of every IT guy's job. We make sure you have working tools to do your job. We don't do your job for you. And we don't help you not do your job. AKA managing expectations. AKA stop bothering me with stupid speep. I'm support staff, not your lapdog. Managing the end users is not part of IT's job though. Her supervisors should be noticing that this is happening with her a lot more than other users. It's not on IT to be call center supervisors unless they are specifically breaking company policy. I didn't say managing the end users. I said training the end users. Like you would train a dog not to pee indoors. An example, SLA for issue X is 3 business days. IT department gets a break and is on top of the queue such that for a Goldilocks moment of a few weeks/months all issues for X get resolved in 1 business day. Then things revert to form, volume of tickets go back up, and end users start complaining that issue X is suddenly taking 2 business days to resolve. Issue X is escalated and IT department gets to suffer a series of frustrating meetings about standards, practices, best efforts and perceived value to know nothing. Client managing directors. IT management have the ignoble position of defending their technicians' work ethics while the technicians themselves feel put upon. Solution: IT resolves to resolve issue X in 3 business days and no less. End users who complain about the level of service get sent to the back of the queue. That is training the end user. We used to have similar issues at a client. They were allowed to have their work email on their phones, so what they would do in the morning would be to lock themselves out and then email in that they were locked out. Knowing full well that an emailed ticket takes longer to get to rather than a phone call. They would do this in the morning or right after a break to extend the time off they got. Thankfully, we do quarterly audits of all ticket types on a per client basis and found that they had an abnormal amount of account lockouts for a client their size. We then checked that like 99% of these were emailed in rather than called in. Our team talked to the client and the client told all the users that if they are locked out they are to call us and not email, and if you email only then you're fired. Account lockouts dropped dramatically after that.